Yo, what's up guys, it's Suraj from Tech Devoted and today we are reviewing something a bit interesting. This is the Gnarbox. It's by the company Minar and in a nutshell what it is an on-the-go photo/video backup solution for your camera. There's a 256GB SSD inside it and you can just basically throw in all your footage by plugging in your SD card. Now that's just the basic idea. There's so much more to it that we'll cover in a bit. But first, I want to talk about the unboxing experience. You guys know I'm a sucker for a good unboxing experience, and with the Gnarbox, that's definitely the case. I love the box that it comes in, just a little cardboard box with a really cool design, and inside it, of course, you have the Gnarbox, the micro USB cable. I would have liked to see Type-C here, but nevertheless, it's not that big of a deal, and I'm glad they at least went the micro USB route instead of opting for some proprietary connection. Because this way, even if you lose the included cable while you're, say, traveling, you could just easily find a replacement. But anyway, getting back to the box, you of course also get the instruction manual, which by the way is like a freaking Bible for this thing. Honestly, I could just leave this video here. The instruction manual is so well done, like very short and concise and to the point, all while being very attractive. And this I don't get to say about a lot of the tech reviews, so huge props to them on this one. Alright, let's take a physical overview now. Up top you have the Gnarbox logo and LED indicators going around. There's not much apart from branding on one side and I/O on the front. And as you go around the device, you'll notice the overall build quality here is phenomenal. It's extremely rugged and the thing is shock, dust and water resistant, so you can take it pretty much anywhere you go and it'll be just fine. So on the front again, we have two flaps that protect your I/O, and opening these will reveal all the connections. So we have a full-sized SD card slot if you want to plug in your camera's SD card directly. That's generally how I do it. Following that, we have a micro SD card slot, a USB 3 port as well as a USB 2 port in case you want to plug in an external hard drive. And following that, finally we have the micro USB B port for charging. Now to get Gnarbox to work, insert your SD card and turn it on. At this point, I must point out, it takes 40 seconds to boot up, which is too long in my opinion. If I'm going to be using this thing on the daily, I need it to turn on instantly to save as much time as possible. But once it's on, the Gnarbox creates a personal hotspot that you have to connect your phone to using their companion app. And this part is crucial. The Gnarbox is useless without the phone app, which it is available on both Android and iOS, but I'll be brutally honest, the Android app really is not that great. I'll elaborate on this in just a moment. So once you connect it to the Gnarbox and have the SD card inserted, you gotta use the app to communicate with the Gnarbox. Click devices to see your SD card here, and for some reason my card is listed as no name. I have no idea why, but once you open it, you can see all the files on the SD card, be it 4K clips or raw images. Gnarbox supports it all. Now I tried the Gnarbox app with 3 different Android devices, starting with my Blueboo S1, and it was actually extremely laggy, but given that the S1 isn't really the fastest of phones, that was understandable. But on top of being laggy, it had this extremely annoying issue. So when I open any of the folders inside the SD card and start scrolling up or down, the thumbnails of the images and videos keep refreshing and changing positions, making it extremely hard for me to find the picture or video that I'm looking for. This was annoying on a whole different level, so I switched to OnePlus 3, hoping that the issue would be resolved, and it wasn't. The app in general was definitely a lot smoother, but it still had the thumbnail refreshing issue. So then I thought, okay, let's give it another shot, and this time I took a OnePlus 5. And fortunately, this time the issue was gone, so I'm not really sure where the problem lies, but the app performance across different Android phones is pretty inconsistent, which is weird. The iOS app on the other hand is optimized much better. I tried it on an iPhone 6 and it worked just fine. But once you do manage to find the clips you want, which thanks to the thumbnail refreshing issue can take extremely long, you can directly copy it to the 256GB SSD inside the Gnarbox, and the transfer speeds are pretty good. I would say 60 megabytes a second, and playing back one of the clips, as you can see, it's pretty smooth. And from here you can click edit. That will allow you to trim the clip. They also have an adjust option that lets you mess with things like exposure, contrast, highlights, shadows, you know, the usual affair. It's nice to include basic editing, and if you want to create a quick edit with say like different clips with a track to go along with it, you can do that, but it's not the most editor friendly UI. Let me explain. So to create an edit, you have to select the part of the clip you want and swipe up to add it to what's called a reel. Now the problem here is you have to go to each clip separately and trim and swipe up to send it to the reel. You cannot directly go to the reel and add clips. I mean, think of it like individually selecting files from the file explorer of your computer and sending it to Premiere Pro one at a time, as opposed to importing like all the clips into the project at once and arranging them from there. So it's kind of a mess. And if that wasn't enough, they don't even have options for transitions, which is kind of a letdown. But hey, here's the quick edit I made using a bunch of random clips and a dope track. Take a look. So that was a quick montage I made using some clips from the YouTube Creator Connect event that happened a while ago, and I'll admit that wasn't a very great edit, and as much as I hate to blame the app for it, I think it's because of it, because like it's extremely hard to edit. Again, it boils down to the same thing. I gotta individually keep trimming clips and sending them to the reel and keep guessing if it's the right length and matches the music. I can't just directly do all of that in the reel, just like you would do with a normal editing software. To put it simply, it's not very editor friendly. I mean, if I wanted to, I could make it perfect by sitting at it for an hour, but that kind of defeats the purpose of having a portable machine like this. And of course, the video started and ended kind of abruptly thanks to the lack of transitions. So I hope that can be added in the future update as well as titles. But of course, you can also edit pictures. You can tweak stuff like exposure, contrast, tint, saturation, again, the usual affair. And once you're done and satisfied with your edit, you can export it directly to your phone gallery or save it to the Gnarbox. Now, as I already said, if you're on the iOS side, the experience is much better, but I really hope they work on the Android version as well, especially if they're targeting the Asian markets, more specifically the Indian market, because I think there are more Android users than iOS users in India, and a bad app is equal to an overall bad experience. Now, during the whole process, the Gnarbox actually overheats quite a bit, but they claim, or they explicitly mention, it's normal, so nothing to worry about, I guess. And as for battery life, they advertise the 4000 mAh battery as a 4 to 6 hour lasting battery. I'd say you can get about half of that tops, so like 3 hours give or take if you're continuously transferring and editing footage. And to charge it up, it would take almost 4 hours, which is kind of funny because it doesn't even last that long. So do I recommend the Gnarbox? I, for one, have found it very useful. It's very powerful. There's literally a quad-core Intel CPU with 2GB RAM inside, so it's no joke. And I actually think there are a lot of use cases for this. I could use it on a quick trip to like maybe a phone launch event and make a quick edit for Instagram or Twitter while I am on the show floor. It eliminates the need to carry a laptop, which I don't have one in the first place to begin with, so it partially makes up for that. But right now the app limits its capabilities, at least on Android. I think the Gnarbox is beautiful, both design and concept wise, but the only thing that's keeping me from using it as much as I would have liked to is the app. Now, as for pricing, it goes for $400 for the 256GB variant and $300 for the 128GB variant. Now, do I think it's a good price? Honestly, I don't know. Like, this product is the first of its kind, unless I'm missing something, so there isn't a set market value for a product like this. So I do want you guys to tell me in the comments whether you would pay that amount for an on-the-go backup / editing machine, now that you know what this thing does. But if I were to be completely honest, I do think the pricing is a bit steep. Like, if they can make the top 256GB variant $250 or $300 and fix the Android app and add little things like audio gain, transitions, and speed, they'll have a true winner. But that about wraps it up for this video, guys. Gnarbox did send this out to me, but as always, that did not impact my opinion. If you liked what you saw, consider liking and subscribing. If you didn't, maybe let me know why you didn't like it. It's been Suraj. Thanks so much for watching. Take it easy and stay devoted.
On the way down screaming, whoa, if all we have is time, then we'll